I'm here with Martin Kove and Jesse Kove at the pre-Oscars green carpet event. Martin, I've always loved your career. I loved you in The Karate Kid. I love the reference of you and How I Met Your Mother. And I hear that you're a fan of Westerns. Talk to me about the Western and the rejuvenation of it.
Rejuvenation of the Western.
Well, you know, we're working on a comic book that'll have 4 issues. It's all about, you know, the moral fiber of the West and a relationship between a child and another, and an old gunfighter. And to me, I just think kids should know about what we learned of the Old West. Back in the 60s, we had 35 Westerns on primetime television. And the kids of today are missing all of that. They're missing those kind of heroes, finding out what the frontier was like, how, you know, we moved across from 1806 when, you know, Jefferson got his report from Lewis and Clark all the way to the, you know, the end of the 1920s. I mean, it's a fascinating story about pioneers and freedom and Americana. I just want to tell that story, you know, tell part of it, and allow the kids today to have some heroes instead of DC comic books. And,
also, they didn't have any superheroes. They were just regular people trying to do, you know, incredible feats of life.
Primarily,
right?
But nobody knows that because everybody always thinks you have to, you know, have a sci-fi effect to make good, you know, and that's not the case. You can do it. You can do it by yourself in the middle of a wagon train, which Taylor Sheridan proved in 1883. Yeah. You know, had a resurgence of the Western. I want to do it with my son.
Well, you know, I grew up watching Westerns on TV, and I'm wondering, do you have a favorite Western, a Western that inspired you?
Favorite Western on TV that inspired you?
Well, Jesse being younger, what's your favorite Western?
Oh, well, Tombstone is obviously one. That Clint Eastwood, Good, Bad, and the Ugly is my absolute favorite. I would say the most recent one was 1883 on Paramount Plus with Taylor Sheridan. I mean, that was just incredible.
It is, and there's so many. When I was on the cover of Cowboys and Indians, I don't know, 6 months ago. And they asked me the question, they said, what's the 10 best Westerns? And I said, I could give you 10 best Westerns per decade, but I could never give you 10 best Westerns across the board because from the 30s to the 40s to the 50s, they were always great films being better than the next. You know, my favorite Western is The Wild Bunch, but Tombstone's right up there. 1883 is right up there.
What about The Unforgiven?
Unforgiven is sensational.
I love that film. I love all of them. I love all the ones you mentioned.
Also, there was a lot of it was very more eco-friendly in those times. Not a lot of emissions that were created harming the planet.
Right? You know, I came to Hollywood and I got a job. My first job, literally, as a second assistant director, was on Bad Girls.
Was where?
Was on Bad Girls. Madeline Stowe, Mary Stuart Masterson, Annie McDowell, Drew Barrymore. And I had such a blast. I mean, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I go with the girls to cowboy camp. And they learn how to ride horses. And I had a blast on that show.
Oh, good.
Something I'll never forget.
Wasn't that Jonathan Kaplan directed that?
It was Jonathan Kaplan.
Yeah, Jonathan directed me in White Line Fever. We were old friends from New York.